Hi all, Hal here, we're space engineers, and we made a few changes again. So we'll talk about what's going on, what we've done, and I'll give you a tour of the new section. But first, we have to get started, so let's go. So, happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully you had a fantastic weekend and are having a terrific day thus far. Let's just go ahead and recap that really quick. All right, so if you remember on Friday, I had said we had been working on the reactor room, and I had said that I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it the way that it was or not. There were some things I wanted to do, and I've gone ahead and basically made the changes. So if you remember, I was saying I was talking about having a med area in here, so I've gone ahead and put the med bay in. We've gone ahead and decorated it as well, so you've got a couple of desks in here. So now we have a secure respawn point. There's also the ability for multiple people to be in here charging if they need to be. Coming out here, this is kind of like a little observatory. Without having to go out into the reactor room. If something is broken, you'll know before you head out there. It's just kind of a little transition area. Basically gave you a place to have a little bit more security, so if you're doing something multiplayer and you have people doing breaches, you might be able to defend a little bit. And again, all of this is pressurized, so we can actually hold an atmosphere in here. Coming out through the little, airlock, for lack of a better term on that one. You come out to a walkway, and you can see it's much busier downstairs now than it was before. I've gone ahead and rerouted things where we had everything coming into the central piece and then routing out from there. I've gone ahead and done the split back where it comes into the room, which basically opened up all of this area, which made the wraparound walkway possible. And then we have some areas down there that I'll show you in a moment. Actually, we'll just do that, because basically this just comes down to a ladder in between each of the reactors. And it's just so that if you have multiple people and you're doing a scenario where no one has jetpacks, which is possible to do, and there are people who play that way, basically you'll be able to get multiple people in and out of this place at the same time. And then everything down here is connected as well. So we've got some little storage boxes. You'll be able to put some tools or even resources, parts, things like that in here. Coming over into this section, we have the dual lockers and then a work table. So, if you got a couple engineers or a part goes bad and you need to recondition something, you have a workspace for it. Coming around this way, you have even more storage, and you've got basically an engineering station here. This is probably going to be your, I don't want to say chief engineer, but most likely whoever your person is in charge of the power distribution, making sure the reactors keep running. Head of maintenance maybe would be right here. And then over here you've got some more storage. So now, for those who are engineers or have worked with civil engineers, whenever you have workspaces like this, you always have these little pockets where people will find places to throw some areas to relax, shall we say, that are out of sight of command. So I'm sure there's a couple of military civil engineers that know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so this is the new engineering section, or I should say the new reactor room. Now, we haven't done a full-on fabrication and an internal fabrication center. I'm thinking we may actually do one of those and have the entrance for it be over here on the other side of the hallway. That way, if something happens and you do have to make parts, you'd have the fabrication room right nearby. Makes it much easier to get things done. The other thing I may do is, since we've got so much stuff over here already, I may actually put an area back here. Let's go this way. So maybe like right in here, where we'll use the larger door. Actually, gate. Because this thing, I want to say is 2 by 3, like 2 by 3. I think 2 by 5 maybe. But basically, we would have that cut into the wall in between the two ladders here. And what that'll allow us to do is have an area where we could have, you know, like say 4 or 5, maybe even 6 assemblers set up and have it run as a full-on assembly room, fabrication room. Again, so if something happens and you need to repair stuff, like do major construction, you'll have it available right here. Now, from a gameplay mechanic standpoint, obviously that's not necessary. You can have the assemblers anywhere you bloody well want. You always have access to them as long as you have access to the grid. What we're looking at, though, is from a story perspective, like RP kind of thing, what would make sense for there to be here. And I do think that having something like this would actually make sense. So I'm probably going to place these. Let's see here. If we do, it's going to be unable to place because of that. But if we sink it into the wall here, that fits. Alright, so if we do that, yeah, I think I like that. What we're going to go ahead and get rid of some of the stone, turn the light on here so you can see. And I'm probably not going to do anything with this right now. But I did want to have it here so that you can see what I was talking about for the most part, as well as, you know, reminding myself to come back and finish this at some point. And like I said, I'll probably deal with some of this off camera, only because of the fact that it's just going to be hollowing out a room. But what we'll do is once I have the room back here and I decide on what I want to do with this room, we'll come back and I'll walk you through it as we actually do the planning and everything. There we go. I like that. That actually makes much more sense down here now. All right. Now what I'll probably do is put in some minor habitation area back there, like just, you know, a couple of beds and maybe like a small kitchenette kind of thing. That way the folks that are generally responsible for it, they have a crew rest back there. Yeah, I like the way that looks. It breaks up that wall a little bit more too. And so what we may end up doing is we may actually cut some doors in here and have some windows or something so that we can have an observation area from that side. I kind of like the idea of where that's going. Oh, okay. Anyway, so that's the engineering bay for now. Okay, so if we head out this way, show you what we've done in the hangar. We haven't really made a whole lot of changes to the hangar. The only thing we've really done at this point is we've gone ahead and started welding up some of the stuff over here, but we've put in the turrets. What are you missing? Always the metal grids. I've made so many bloody metal grids. I actually have, what's it called? The superconductors on production order right now for these guys, because we need a lot of them. We need 1,000 superconductors per, and there's 36 of these on each side. So 72, so 72,000 superconductors, which works out to something like 47,000 gold ingots for total production. All right. So you are still making the tubing. I've gone ahead and queued up 70k of those, and because of that, yeah, like I said, it's 46, almost 47k gold, and I think I actually need to add 2,000 more. Because I said there's, what, 36 there? I think it's actually 32, and I just rounded it up. So what we'll do is we'll let it run. I have nowhere near this gold on hand. I have to actually go find some gold. And mine the hell out of the the asteroid that has it. But just showing you what we've got going on here. Metal grids. I want to throw together another 1,000 grids, and we're going to drop those over here for a second. There we go. And it should weld up the turrets first. Now, I don't have these piped in yet. I've only started putting in the conveyor network, but what I did do is we've got some space back here, and I deliberately left space back here when we were doing the dig out, and I came through and mined out some other stuff. Basically just opened this up so I could find out where our conveyor network was. And so what we're going to do is from here, we're going to run conveyor from here all the way down, around, and through here. And part of the reason for doing it this way is that I want to have the network piped in all the way around, so that I can run conveyors from here, from this trunk line, or what will eventually become the trunk line, to specific areas on the walls, ceiling, and floor for us to put in the connectors that we were talking about. Now we're going to have some other things in here as well. I'm probably going to put in some walkway spaces, just to have a little bit more functionality in here, so you'll be able to get around the entire place. Again, if you're doing something without jetpacks or limited jetpack access, you don't have to have a jetpack to get everywhere. Now, Orks. Let's talk about the Orks. We have a war boss. He's been sitting out there. He gets bored, he'll go away, and then he comes back. But he's been constantly floating in and out around the 6-kilometer mark. I think the first time he popped in, he was at like 8.2 or something like that. So he sometimes gets closer, sometimes goes away. But we're going to leave him alone for right now because we're nowhere close to being ready to take him on. But that's something we're going to change this week. Since we are getting war bosses, that means we probably should start expecting Reavers to start showing up. I'm thinking that they should actually be in the rotation map now, or in the spawn rotation. But we'll see how that happens. But I won't be surprised if they show up this week. Especially now that we're seeing the war boss. Alright, so we've got all of that. Now let's talk about Shipyard. How's my tanks doing? We're going to go over here since we're heading out anyway. Helps if I spell it correctly. We'll go ahead and fill this because we're here. Ooh. You know what? Let's do it this way. Because I know that's got hydrogen in it. Oxygen. Thank you. Okay. How many plates do I have? I got a couple. Okay. Now, we will eventually, like I was talking about last time, put some stuff over here. And I'm thinking that we'll probably do that on the second half of this week, so maybe late Wednesday or early on, or during Friday's video. I'm not sure yet which way we're going to take that yet. With him being 6k out there, he's mighty close. I am not happy with that distance. Right. So Shipyard. What I'm thinking for Shipyard is I'm actually thinking to put it over on this side, because we've already got a large ship that's just kind of hanging out here. But now that we have 5 large reactors online. We have 3 in the reactor room, 2 in the tower. I'm thinking we should be okay for the most part for shields, I hope. And I'm thinking maybe have the shipyard come straight out from here. Where are you? Oh, you're the stone ejector. Yeah. Because the idea is that if the shipyard's coming out from here, what we'll be able to do is operations would actually be able to oversee what's going on in the shipyard, which is kind of important. Even if it's a limited visibility, I'm thinking I do definitely want to have the central spire of the shipyard coming out from here. Like I said, I want to be close. I want to be careful. I don't want to. I'm trying to stay more than 6K away from that guy, and because I don't know what, because he doesn't spawn in until you get close to him. But I don't know what range it is that it spawns in. It could be 2K, it could be 5K. I'm not sure. He's not spawning in at 6K, so I'm gonna try and not get any closer than 6K. So yeah, I'm thinking probably out to about there. Let's see here. I'm just gonna throw some blocks on here, and we are going to. Let's go. Now, this isn't necessarily where it's going to be. I'm actually thinking that it's going to be higher up. But I want to at least get some spacing here. Figure out what our distances are going to look like. Because one of the things we're going to do is we are actually going to have an operations center out here. So basically the operations center, if let's say this is the floor to the hallway that is going to come out, so you're going to end up with, let's see, let's make it 3 wide. Just to give us some room in it. And we'll make it too tall. And like I said, this is all placeholder stuff. This entire piece is going to come out. We just want to get an idea of how much room we're looking at and how much space we're going to need to get everything in here. So how wide did we say this thing is? Because I want to have 2 berths on either side. That was weird. Did you just try to extend, or? Alright, like I was saying, I want to try and get it at least 2 berths on either side, so basically docking areas. Okay. Warboss got bored and has moved on again. He'll probably show up in another 15 minutes or so. But yeah, so 2 berths. We'll try this one more time. On each wing, or on each side of the blade here. So we'll have 1 on this side, 1 on this side. But I do, like I said, I want to have an area that's both an observation area as well as operations control area. So you'll have the individual dry dock control centers, and then you'll have the overall shipyard operations, which will be operations. The overall shipyard operations will be up there, and then down here we're going to have the dock, the specific dock controls. Now, means I'm going to want this to be no more than, because I want some space between it and the asteroid. see how close this gets us to the stonework over here. Oh, that's perfect, I think. I think that's going to be good. Because that keeps us under protection of the turrets up here. And then we are going to have more turrets. We're going to probably put another pillbox in. I'm thinking, depending on how high up we go. Let's see here. If we go... This is actually a good depth for the... Let's factor it's going to be here. The floor will be at the top of that the top of this block right here, right? How many blocks is that? That's maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if this comes up 6 blocks, 2, 3, 4. So that's basically the height that we're talking about here. Alright, so that means we're going to bring this in just for a minute. Again, this is just to get some ideas. So I'd probably want the pillbox to be 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd probably want the pillbox to be around this height. And then for the other side, that's actually a good height for... So if we do, let's say 5 more, 2, 4, 5. And what I'm thinking is, because of the way everything is set up, I'm actually thinking having another pillbox down here would not be a bad idea. And so that would be the top of the pillbox. So the pillbox would be 1 turret. That'd be 2 turrets. Do I want to go 3 turrets? I don't know, 3 turrets might not be a bad idea. 2. So turrets would be 1 turret, 2 turrets.
Energy low.
This would be the area for 3 turrets if we did 3 turrets. And that actually works out pretty well, because then we would be able to turn the corner, have 1 or 2 more turrets on this side. So anything coming in around would be taking some light fire. So if we go from here, it would take some light fire as it came around. As it cleared, more and more of these turrets would be able to start tagging it, as well as the turrets up there. Okay. I think that's going to work for us. I think that'll work really well. And then again, we'll have, because we have turrets over on the other side, we're actually going to have turrets in the dry dock area, up above the dry dock, as well as down below the dry dock. And maybe off to the sides of it as well, especially on the leading edge out here. We'll have a couple of just small turret embankment. I'm going to say embankments, but it's enclosures, emplacements. That's it. That's what I was looking for. Emplacements. So we'll have a couple of emplacements on the leading edge. So maybe like 3 on the length of each side, so 6 total on the outer edge, and then 1 at the end in between the 2 bays. And then 1 on the other, at the other side of the entrance to both bays. So we'll end up with, was that 6, 8, 10 turret placements? So we'll have 1 on the top side, 1 on the bottom side, and then the ones on the leading edge. So we'll end up with quite a few turrets on the shipyard. It's not like I don't have the ammo. It just scared the crap out of me. Alright. Okay, so I think that's our plan.
Energy critical.
So, what we need to do now is figure out the width. So if we're saying this is going to be one side of the shipyard here, we want it to be wide enough for this thing to fit. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24, 25. Alright, so if we go 25, I'm going to leave 2 on, so that'll be the arm, so we 1, 2, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 1, 2, and then here. Alright. So that is the general width of one bay. And then because we have a lot of space over here, what I'll probably do is make this a smaller bay for a smaller ship. Oh, gotta go get some power. Quick, 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 quick. Oh. Okay. I don't know why it delayed. I am not going to complain though. Allow me to get in here and get some power. Alright, so I think that's the idea. Let's do a little bit of the construction. Means I'm going to have to move this thing at some point. Alright, like I said, what we're going to do is this is going to come out from up there. So yeah, I'll need to move the ship. I'll probably go, actually I may leave it on this side. Like drop it down below where our measuring systems are currently. Yeah, let's deal with this first. So again, 1, 2, and then we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to go 1, 2. And then the third one is where it's going to end. Okay. And again, this is really just to make it a little easier to see what we're dealing with here. Yeah, that's going to be a massive shipyard. Okay, it's going to work. It's going to work. I'm not complaining about the overall size. All right. I know. It's funny how a small base becomes a giant monstrosity, right? Alright, and then I'll figure out how far out these need to go. And what I'm thinking is for this area, since we have the room to do it here, and the reason why I left 2 spaces is because I'm going to have one of these on either side. And again, these are not the final blocks to be used, and you know, usual disclaimers. So if we do that, what I'm thinking here is that we can then do something like this, maybe. And we're gonna do this on the other side. Make sure our rotate is turned off. Alright. So if we do that, let's go something like this. That should work. So if we go let's try this. Whoop. Something like that. Now what I'll do is I'll actually make that bigger. But the idea is that we'll have these go vertical and then curve over and in. And we won't have it be all the way down, so it won't be like a tube. Actually, that might not be bad if we did do that. And now what we could do is have a ribbing on it where one is out like half a block further. So if we did, let's go 3 and then 2. If we did that, we could go something like this, maybe. And then we have it. Oh, out of plates. So let's grab you, just because. So we end up with something like that. And you see how you end up with part of one of the ribs that sticks out a little bit further. Yeah, so, and then what we do is actually we'll play with the parts and angles and everything to make sure everything matches up the way it needs to. But that just gives you an idea of what we're thinking here, and that would actually not be a bad idea, because if we do it as a full tube down, we can actually have operations over top of it with a window looking down into the dock area. Oh, I'm starting to like the way that's going. So maybe have this come up like 2 more blocks, just to give us a little bit of extra height on it. And then we have basically the ship being built down under the dock area. Okay. I think that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and call this one here. I want to thank y'all for stopping in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. What we're gonna do off camera is basically move the ship and then shift this entire construct space up to where we were talking about. Which means that is actually going to come up to here. And then, so that'll probably move up a little bit, but we'll leave the lower section where it is. So yeah, we'll move all of this up to its actual height area. And then we will actually I'll build 3 of the bays, and we'll do the 4th bay on camera so you can see what I did, but it's really just going to be an extension of what we've got there, right here. Or maybe we'll just go ahead and build all of them, and then when we come back on Wednesday, what we'll do is we'll actually start looking at the control centers over each of the bays. I think that'll be a better plan, because this is going to be a lot of just cutting and pasting stuff. Well, cutting and you know what I mean. Cutting and replacing stuff to move it all up. I have to just move this ship out of the way, get all of this moved up, and then get just the general framework of the bays in place. Okay, yeah. So we are going to leave this one here. I want to thank you again for stopping off. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw those down in the section below. If you are new to the channel, haven't done so already, and we're just going to do something nice for me today, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Not only will that keep you up to date with the content as it comes out, but it lets me know that you're enjoying the content that is coming out, and well, that's what I'm here for. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff done. And like I said, when we come back on Wednesday, the basic bays should be in place. And then it'll just be building things like the hallway and the control center on top of the dry dock. And hopefully the Orks leave me alone for a little while, because there's a very large amount of stuff being built outside of a shield. And I have to adjust the size of the shield for this. I might need to bring more reactors online. Anyway, on that note, we're going to get out of here. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Enjoy your week if I don't see you before then. And otherwise, we'll see you back here on Wednesday for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Let's go get some power back. And we start moving the entire thing up.